Hey y'all, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm gonna be doing a really fun, like summery, pink, peachy look. I love this look, mostly inspired by one of my girlfriends that I just did her makeup for a super fun night out, and I was like, wow, concert, cookout, backyard anything, indoor anything. It is just such a fun summer eye. Before we get started, please make sure you're following me on Instagram at everydaygirl_essentials. I do a ton of reels, IGTVs, and tons of like pro tips and knowledge that I have just gained along the way on every single caption. And I am always sharing as much as I can with you guys. And also while you're here, go ahead and subscribe, hit the little bell so that way you know when I'm posting the next video. All right, now we can officially get started. So the very first step is cleansing your skin. We are removing all of that dirt and clean down your neck as well, especially if you're doing your makeup at the end of a day, and just get all of that day's dirt off. And for the cleansing, I'm using the Bioderm Micellar Water Cleanser. So I want to add a little bit of moisture back into my skin. So I'm going to be using this Glossier Super Glow Serum. You can see it's like a little bit milky almost. I'm putting it at the high points of my face and then working my way down my chin. And I can tell my skin is dry because this is a serum, and look, it is barely moving. So I might even need to put a touch more on. So a product that I love, especially like I just said, noticing I was a little bit dry, is using a dry oil from Bioessence, and this one is a vitamin C. So I'm just putting a light drop underneath my eyes. And this is a dry oil, so it's going to absorb in your skin. Sometimes my clients are like really nervous about like breakouts stemming from the oil not really like drying down and just looking really obvious under your makeup. I am using a face oil, so it has a drier finish than something a lot more heavy for like your skin, like a oil for your legs or something. So this is a dry oil. And I'm putting a little bit just on my forehead. Like I said, noticing I was a little bit dry there. Usually I'm like dry to oily combination skin, but just noticing this time of the year, I usually do run a little bit drier. So especially like being out in the sun or any of my like sweat kind of drying down, easily dries out your skin. So in part of this skin prep, I'm gonna go back into my eyes with this Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Eye Cream. You can even see like it has a really light colored texture. So, I mean, this is not like a concealer. Like it really does go on fairly like transparently, but it's nice having that just touch of tint to kind of wake up your eyes and just make sure it's really absorbed in. So I want to start with my eyes on this look, especially since it's a little bit more dramatic. It'll give me the ability to go back in and clean up any lines, any powder fallout, and we're going to be packing on some pretty pigmented, super bright colors like that pink and orange and a little bit of white. So I definitely want to start with my eyes first on this look, just in case I need to do any cleaning. So before I start, I'm going to use some of this Fenty Beauty eye primer. Now you want to make sure you rub this in like pretty quick. It does have a kind of fast dry down time. And it feels like really creamy, especially since we put down that oil and the Ole Henriksen. All right, now we're going to start with our color. So I'm going to start with a cream base of a white. So I am using the Denesamyrix in color Lift. So I put just like a touch on my hand. A little goes a long way. So I'm just trying to like lightly dab it out. So I'm just picking up a little bit. And I'm just gonna dab this along my eyelids. A white or like a really bright color as the base really helps the pigment come through way more than if you were just gonna like put it on your skin directly, especially with this kind of bright color. And it's gonna look kind of crazy at first, almost like clown makeup a little bit, but this is all gonna be covered. And any excess, just kind of clean up with like one of your other fingers that's clean. And I just don't want like a lot of overlap laying this product on. Overlap onto like anywhere other than my upper lid and eye. So I'm gonna dab that little bit. And this stuff dries as well, so I really recommend doing one eye at a time. So to help us like really develop this pink and kind of peachy, orangey eye, I am gonna be predominantly using the Tarte Juicy palette. So many pinks, like all in this range. If I want just like a hint of any type of tan or brown, I also have it here. There is one color in the Soft Glam palette that I will totally be using, and that is this cream soda. Maybe the burnt orange in the crease, but these oranges are going to play so nicely on that pink, and I think help it give it some dimension so it's not like a pink eye. So I'm gonna use this pearl color to pack down that first coat on the eye. And it is amazing how this pink is just pulling through over that white. And if you're packing it on in kind of that rainbow shape, go ahead and just add a little bit of a line directly from like the corner of your eye, almost to your eyebrow, and just lightly buff that into kind of that like cat eye. And it's just so like illuminating to pull up your face and almost like pull back your eyes. And bring this color down to your lash line as well. This is actually gonna be like a really strong base. So pack the color down first and then like windshield wiper it out. This is gonna give you a really strong pigment. And then just buff that out and that line up to your eyebrow. So I'm gonna lighten this up just a touch with my fluffy brush using Blossom. Now, I don't need this color to totally take over that pink, so I am fine immediately like windshielding this. I don't need to pack on this really light transition color. And it's almost like you're kind of contouring that crease with a lighter color rather than the darker one, which is what I typically do. And I want to make sure that lid is covered with this. I'm not taking this all the way up to the crease. Now I want to work on this lid really specifically. I'm not taking it up to the crease, just right where my eyes kind of open here. And I'm going to be going in with that same brush using the orange soda. Now I definitely want this color to pull through on its own rather than just kind of blending in. So I'm packing the color on and then I'm blending it out. And I really think that this orange helps elevate this look from like a full-blown just pink eye, which sometimes can look like it's infected a little bit. You gotta really be careful with the colors you choose to taking it into a very fun like summer look. Something else you'll notice too is you don't really see that big bright pink that we initially laid down. And that's because we're blending a lot of these colors into the background of it, except for right up at our crease where we still want to keep that really bright, vibrant pink. So a little bit of that crease did get washed out with some of that orange and brighter pink that we put over it. So I am just going in right at that outer crease to buff in just a little bit more of that really bright, vibrant pink in this petal color that we started with. A motion you'll see me do sometimes if I'm really trying to bring that outer corner color into the inner corner, you know, cat, use your words. I'm gonna start kind of where I brush out for that arrow and just come up to the eye. And in one sweeping motion, just arc it over your eye. So you're coming from that outer corner over your eye. We're not doing a rainbow. Now it is time for the star of the show, Stardust. So I got this from the Marc Jacobs sale at Sephora. I think that they are discontinuing their line or their contract together. So huge sale. Now is the time to stock up on your Marc Jacobs. So I want this color to go on really strong, really pigmented. And I'm gonna be wearing false lashes, so I want you to be able to see all that glitter even through the lashes. So I'm gonna be taking my ring finger and I'm gonna pick up just a ton of that color. If you don't want something so bold, if you're not wearing false lashes, then you can definitely just use a really fluffy brush all across that lid. I'm trying to be really mindful as it's being placed. I do not want a ton of fallout. I don't want it all over the eye. And since this is like a pressed glitter, see, it's not coming out, but it's not cream, it is dry. Oh my gosh, and just look how awesome that looks. Then you can really pack on that powdered glitter. I would say this is the same texture as a pressed powder. You know, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I think also if you're wearing like an all black outfit, oh my gosh, this color would just look amazing. And easily you can tone down a touch of the pink and add a little bit more brown, and then it's like a full-on like pink, airy, bright, soft glam. That easy. Looks so good. So because I am going to be using some false eyelashes, which we'll apply at the end, I am going to be using some black eyeliner with maybe just like a light wing. So I sometimes go between using the Smudge Pot with the almost like pencil tip liner or the NYX liner with the felt tip. So I'm gonna draw my wings first, just kind of lightly go over my eye. Sometimes if I kind of mess up or my hand is like a little bit shaky, then I'll go in with the Smudge Pot. I wanna add some primer. Now, I really wanna add some Red Correct primer, especially on my I'm very like a little bit sunburned, a little bit sun-kissed. So I just want to cancel that out because I really do not want to take away from this pink eye. And then I'm going to add a little bit of purple on the like forehead and chin. So I just like really brighten my face. So I'm using the Arborian CC Correct. And it goes on very bright, but especially once it like warms up with your skin, it's kind of a lot more like malleable. And that color, it really like kind of translucents. And now I'm gonna go in with that purple Color Correct. Just dab a little bit. And I'll work that in. It really heats up with your skin to spread a lot easier, so it's not so pigmented. And any excess, I'm just gonna bring it down my neck. So now I'm gonna lay my foundation down. I am using the shade N12 with the L'Oreal Luminous. I love this. It is like color matching as it goes on, especially as it like really warms up with your skin. And then I add a little bit of the Glossier Future Dew Drops. And this is one of the keys to getting that like glowy, dewy finish. Just adding these serum drops. I'm gonna paint it on with a painter's brush. I put it on my mixing plate. I don't need very full coverage, especially since it's so hot out. And now that's painted on, I'm gonna use a wet sponge to kind of dab it into place. I'm not like working it out, spreading it out with my sponge like I would with my painter's brush. And I'm gonna take it up into my hairline just a little bit. that it all kind of blends. And look at that with those future dew drops mixed in. Oh my God. Just glow, glow, glow. Now I'm taking my NARS Creme Brulee Concealer. And I'm dabbing this along the high points of my face. And the doe foot on this little applicator is actually pretty good on it. You can tell, like, I just put this whole like dabbing bit on from one brush. And now I'm gonna dab it on with my wet sponge, and again, just dabbing it into place. So now that I have that pretty well dabbed in and mixed around, I wanna use a little bit of my cream bronzer just to add some of that dimension to my face shape. So I'm gonna put it just below my cheekbone, lightly. It's not a straight like glue stick, but just like a light dab. Touch to my nose. And a little bit along my forehead just to help with that shaping. And we'll set this with a bronzer, and I'll put more of the bronzer at the top so that way it's not like too intense of a brown. And I'm gonna work that in with the same wet sponge we've been using. I love a wet sponge for cream products. I just really think it helps absorb into your skin so much better. And take it up to your ear. That way it's looking like a cohesive color. So I'm gonna press these creams in with some matte pressed powder. I love a matte pressed powder on cream products to really like set it into place. And I am using shade 6 medium beige. And I'm just kind of working it around in light strokes to set this cream into place. So I'm gonna set just a little bit of this shading in with some bronzer and work it up just a little bit so it blends pretty well into the blush. I'm using the Fenty bronzer in shade Private Island. And I love how this bronzer, you can do just a little bit, or you can kind of build it up and add more for kind of that like deeper look. So it's very blendable bronzer and very buildable. It's like just like that, I have color in my face. Anything that's left, I'm working down the side of my nose and just a little bit back over those areas. I'm gonna dab a little bit more, and I wanna go down the sides of my trachea, kind of both sides of my neck. I think it's too much to do bronzer on your whole neck. So I love just kind of the sides of that trachea connected at your jaw. And this is gonna blend it in with your skin a lot better and a lot more natural. So now for the blush, I'm gonna be using the Jour blush. This is the Adore Me shades. And lightly tapping that just above the bronzer where it still kind of blends in, but you can still see kind of that like difference of where we're layering these colors. And I like adding it just a touch to like where you meet the ear and the eye. And that is gonna help really like draw up the face. If it seems like your ears are like a little bit lower, then you can draw just above them. But I love a blush that connects up to the eye. And just adding a little bit of whatever's extra on that brush to kind of each sides of my nose, really lightly. So we're gonna finish the other eye. I have this really thin brush laid flat. It's the Morphe brush in M213. I'm gonna pick that pearl color back up just on one side of the brush to help me with any fallout. And I'm gonna press at the corner of my eye, outer corner, and drag it to the middle. And this is, like I said, gonna help that really cohesive look. Dragging it just to the middle of my eye. And I want it to connect underneath the wing. Now with your transition color from the Soft Glam palette, or if you have like this really bright orange soda is the color I'm using, I'm gonna go from the middle to almost the inner corner. With that Marc Jacobs Stardust just on that inner corner and inner lower lid. Now I know that I did use my finger to like really pack that color on, but now I'm using a brush just for like the precision of where I want this color. So I'm packing a pretty good amount onto the brush, and then I'm just kind of dabbing it along in that inner corner. Also, yes, I did wear space buns for my fun summer look. This is a little bit out of character for me, but I mean, I just couldn't not do a good space bun with such a fun eye. I'm gonna use the Brow Wiz by Anastasia, Beverly Hills in shade Soft Brown. So I'm gonna brush these back and then I'll set them with a clear gel from Revolution. I love a fluffy brow. I love how natural it looks. But if you want to like add some dimension to your brow or even kind of create it, then just start by drawing like more of a solid line like at the bottom. And then blending into that line from the top down. And buff out that color. Maybe got a little heavy-handed on a couple parts in my like inner brow. So you can easily just buff that out with a spoolie. So I'm brushing like straight up, and then I'm gonna like lay flat. And comb into that more like desired clean shape. And then I'm gonna set it with the Brow Revolution in clear. And I also like this brow gel for helping some of that color that I added stay on. Especially when I want like a natural brow, not like the thickness of a brow gel in color. So I'm gonna add the lashes. So I'm gonna go over the top of both of these with that felt tip, just so you don't see the tops of these extensions. I'm gonna mix in some mascara so we can get that bonding going from these lashes onto mine. To keep this really like cohesive look, I've like just a little bit of blush on my cheeks, but I want my lips to be really pink and bright, just like my eyes. So I'm gonna start by lining them with the NYX pencil. This is in the color Peekaboo. I want to put a little bit of a stain on them just so I can keep this color. So I'm going to be using the Revlon lip gloss stain, the color Be Captivating. While this is sitting, oh my gosh, look at that. It's like a bubblegum pink with these beautiful bright eyes. I love this look. So while this is setting, I'm gonna put a little bit of highlighter on using the Dior palette, and I'm using the color Strobe and Blush. And whatever's left, I just wanna dash a little bit on the bridge of my nose. Maybe my little forehead too. And I'm gonna take a brush and just line underneath my eyebrow. Blot away any of that excess stain. And I'm gonna add some of the Patrick Ta lip gloss. It's the Major Glow lip gloss in Is She Younger Than Me? And I don't know if you can see it, but it is just full of like pink and peach sparkles. Almost as if that Marc Jacobs was a lip gloss. And it just complements these eyes so good. So I'm gonna set this with my dewy setting spray. I really wanna pull that dewy glow out with this look. So I'm using the Milani Making It Last Dewy Spray. And remember, don't crunch up your face whenever you're like anticipating that spray. If anything, start further and then come in, because whatever face you're making, all of those like wrinkles and crinkles are going to be set. So this is our finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please let me know by liking this video, giving it like a thumbs up, and subscribing to this channel. I try to put out one video a week, sometimes more, but I usually try to do one video a week, and sometimes it's like super fun like this, very casual, very glam. We have the whole range. So thank you so much, you guys, and if you're not already, please follow me on Instagram at everydaygirl_essentials. All right, thank you guys for hanging out with me.